Hi, Kevin. Can you just update? Is there any health issues we should be concerned about ahead of Saturday's match?
Um, João Peglo has a knock, so we're keeping an eye on him. But other than that, we're healthy.
You had some time since obviously the last game, and that had the benefit. How was that time? Obviously you had the Ethiopian match, but that was a different situation. How did you use that time to try to get this team now in a forward motion going for the last couple of months?
Yeah, so after Austin, we did have some time where we gave the players off and just time for them to rest and recover. And then we came back in, trained Friday, Saturday, and back in for a full week on Monday. So yeah, it's been a good it's this time of the season for players to get a moment to recover after especially a congested July, for them to mentally and physically recover and go again in preparation for the final push here, last 9 games.
And you want that obviously to be a positive push. There's not been a win since May. What needs to happen? Is it more chances? What are you assessing?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that need to happen, in possession, out of possession, in moments of transition. So it's I'd say impossible to point at one thing, but there's all moments of the game. There needs to be a positive bump in the right direction for us to pick up a result against a team that's this weekend that's pushing for a playoff spot and have good quality in their squad.
What gives you reason for encouragement, whether what you're seeing in training in recent games or from specific players?
Yeah, so we've had a good week of training this week. The lads have been positive on and off the pitch. The energy is good. I know that that sometimes sounds sounds off, but the energy has been good in the building, and the guys have been very good in training, in terms of some of the things that we've been working on this week. So it's been a solid week.
Thank you, Dave. Next, we'll go to Donald Wine.
Thank you. Hey, Kevin. Thank you for your time today. I want to kind of build off of what Dave was asking and ask you, with the team, obviously, it's been a couple months since the last win. Morale, can be low in times like this. How do you continue to keep these guys thinking positively and knowing that the next game could be the one that turns things around?
Yeah, look, I think this time of the year, it's important that players are pushing and continuing to compete. None of the guys are happy to be in this situation where we are at this time, and there's a lot of opportunity for guys in terms of putting their best foot forward and making good first impressions and showing their value and their quality. So yeah, it's tough that like the playoffs are so far away with so many games left to play, but at the same time there should be motivation for all of our players, and there is, and we're definitely seeing that from an energy standpoint in training.
And the transfer window's open. I know there's been a couple of rumors out there. I'm not going to ask you to comment on those, but what I will ask you is, have you had any continued further discussions with the front office about any moves that you expect to be made ahead of the close of that window later in the month?
Yeah, my time's been very well focused on preparing the first team for matches. So I don't have anything to report in that sense.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Donald.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Bruce Murray.
Bruce, you're
Bruce.
still, by the way.
Bruce, you're muted.
Is that better, guys? Okay, all right. Hey, Kevin, thanks for your time. Um, it must hearten you and the lads to see the crowd the crowd size and the Chico stand and the amount of bodies in the stadium when you're on a skid. When I played at Millwall, boy, if you were on a 3-day skid, they would kind of protest you out and say, I'm not coming to the game. Well, that's not the case here in Washington. Speak to your thoughts, and then also, I know you've talked to other players or the players about like what you guys play for us, play for the fans, you play for them, you play for the people in Chico stand. How hard is it to go through this?
Yeah, look, I think it is tough. It's tough for the players. It's tough for the club. I think it says a lot about our fan base when they're coming into the stadium and they demand a lot of us as a group, the club as a whole, and I think it's important to point out that good supporters do show up in tough times, and it's important that the supporters are coming into the stadium in support of the players. It's not always when things are going well that you show up for your team. It's it's in the toughest times like we're going through at the moment, where we need our supporters and our fans the most. And yeah, they do continue to show up, and they do continue to express themselves when they're in the stadium as well. And that's all. We're all in this together in that sense. So. I think it's great to see the support and the fans coming out for the players, and to continue that is what's needed. To get out of a moment like we're in, that part's it's always going to be there, and we do have a very dedicated and committed fan base here in DC, and. Yeah, we would want to do well for them as well.
No, excellent. Okay, Kevin, great answer. Thank you so much, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bruce. And then we'll go back to Dave Johnson.
And obviously, Kevin, we're going to be talking to Jackson Hopkins shortly, and this is, I think about my 30 years in the league, and this is such a great development. We're talking about all these homegrown players now. That's been a really, in the history of the league, a recent phenomenon. You think the last 15 years. So I get so excited when Jackson continues to develop, and we noticed that when he was a different player, it seemed to us this year than he was last year. Your thoughts on his development and where he's going?
Yeah, I know. The beginning of the season, he was coming back from an injury, and there's so much upside to him as a player. And he continues to develop. A good learner will make a good player, and he's a guy in video sessions, whether it's individual or as a team. He's dialed in. He's seeking the right information. He's curious, and on the pitch as well, he wants information. He has a growth mindset, and then. You look at all those things that you need to continue to learn and grow and develop, and then you just see what he has. And from a profile standpoint, he's a very good player. He has a lot of talent, and his mindset in the locker room and his approach to his football on a day-to-day is it's great to see, and he's a great guy to be around. And it is exciting to watch him play, like you said, and he's an enjoyable player to watch, and to watch a young man, a homegrown player from DC, to watch him develop every moment in training and in games. It's great for everybody, and it's also, he's a super role model for our academy players that are now coming in the building every day, seeing a guy like him and seeing how he goes about his work, and being able to watch him play in games. And you can sit there, that like our academy players can sit there and say he was in my position, not too long ago. So he's a player that continues to push and develop, and he's also very enjoyable to watch on the pitch, and he's only going to continue to get better and develop.
You mentioned final thought. You mentioned mindset and enjoyable to watch. It strikes me he's got more of a no fear attitude. I'm gonna make things happen, and that's certainly exciting, especially given the situation.
Yeah, he has that. He has that, something about him that he just goes out and performs, and it is rare to have that as such a young player, lacking maybe experience from other players. But he does go out and he takes the right amount of risks. He's brave, and it's great to see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. That's it from Zoom.
Thank you.
Just one from you, Kevin. You guys already played New England earlier this year in May, but you guys were out without Christian Benteke. Just talk about how important it will be to have him, on the field and just in general for morale.
Yeah, Christian's so important to our club. He's so important to our group. Leading the line, we know what he can do in front of goal. But his presence within the squad now, he's got coming off a couple of injuries. He's got more than a couple of games under his belt. So he looks sharp and he looks fit and he's enjoying his football. So he means, and I think everybody knows what he means to us as a club. And having him on the pitch this weekend, leading the line, it gives everybody in the squad just that extra bit of confidence going into matches like Saturday.
Perfect. That's it, Kevin.
Thank you.
So much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks very much. Take care.